Welcome back to the Alignment Yoga blog. Last week I wrote about the instruction, pull the shoulders down and back. And that's an instruction that's tried and true. It's been around for a lot of years. But what I'd like to talk about here today, it's an instruction that's applicability we generally outgrow. So for a beginning student to talk about the shoulder blades down and back has relevance. But so often I find intermediate, advanced students are still pulling their shoulder blades down and back and actually causing more tightness, more stiffness, more pain between their shoulder blades than if they weren't pulling their shoulder blades down and back. So we're going to take a look at here the transition to go from the belly to push to upward facing dog pose, taking a look at strategies. How do we find the optimal alignment for the shoulder blades in a way that builds strength, opens the heart, without causing undue stress in that tight area between the shoulder blades in the thoracic spine. So I'm glad you checked in on the video, and we're going to transition to the belly and take a look at the prone mountain pose and its lead in to the upward facing dog pose. So when we start off learning yoga, we hear shoulders down and back. And so as you can see right now, shoulders down and back, it places a good deal of tension between my shoulder blades and a good deal of tension up in my neck. So what we're looking for is to find the position with the minimum amount of stress in the body, the position that subjectively feels the best from the inside out. And so I take a look at the proper position for the shoulder blades isn't all the way pulled down and back in the same way it isn't drawn all the way up in the ears. There's a middle place. And so what we're looking for is to find that middle path where it just feels right internally. And from the outside, it just starts to look right. So for most experienced yoga students, the shoulders are a lot higher up toward the ears than you'd otherwise anticipate. So that's the starting point. The next point in finding the optimal alignment for the shoulder blades is going to be getting that spaciousness not only across the chest, but also spaciousness across the back. So you see my assistant here has his fingertips on my upper arms. And I take and I broaden my chest, I broaden my back out into this left fingertip, out into that right fingertip. And you can probably see as I broaden not only the back, not only the chest, I've created that flattening of the shoulder blades. I've taken the strain out of the neck. So the challenge is, can you keep that optimal alignment of the shoulder blades? Not too hiked up to the ears, not too pulled down toward the hips, and then keeping that optimal broadening across the chest, across the back. Then keeping that inner alignment as you come to the upward facing dog pose. So again, shoulders down and back, if we take that too extreme, will look like that. You can probably see the strain in my neck and upper back. By the same token, shoulders too high up toward the ears, there's a lot of strain. There's somewhere in the middle, just right. The optimal way to do the yoga poses, we often understand intuitively before we understand intellectually. Maybe you've had the experience that you're sitting at breakfast and a loved one walks down the stairs. And you will sometimes be able to recognize that they're sick, they're not feeling well, even before they recognize it themselves. And that's a part that's within all of us. We have that intuitive capacity to look and see, is this system in balance or is the system out of balance? And part of what we're trying to do in yoga is to cultivate that capacity to see ourselves. So when we take an external instruction, shoulders down and back, it gets us in the door. It's a good way to start doing the practice. But that ability to fine-tune, that ability to discern, we don't get a chance to exercise that capacity. So as we took a look in the belly previously, as I was working on prone mountain, transition to upward dog pose, it's not so much to impose or to dictate how the body has to be aligned, but it's that moment by moment checking in. Does this feel right? Does this look right? And letting that be our guide how to do the poses rather than an external logic system we're imposing onto the body. So again, thanks for giving us your time and checking out the blog, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Namaste.